Thank you all for being here. Welcome to our Brainerd High School Student of the Semester program. I'm Andrea Rusk, and I am the principal at Brainerd High School in South Campus. I'd also like to introduce the gentleman to my left, your right. We have Mr. Josh Fordyce. He's a Dean of Students at South Campus. Craig Cottsmith, he's Assistant Principal here at the North Campus, and Nate Merseth, Assistant Principal at the North Campus. This program was created to allow teachers and staff members to nominate a student to be recognized for their outstanding work, commitment, effort, and/or improvement in the classroom. Some of our students here today are straight A students, yet others have demonstrated a tremendous improvement while here at Brainerd High School this semester. Others are recognized for working hard, and sometimes working hard through some very difficult life circumstances. Others here are nominated for their citizenship and their positive behavior in the halls and within the walls of Brainerd High School. Each teacher typically selects only one or two students to honor. And some of our teaching staff have as many as 150 students a day. So know that this award is special. Before we begin to honor our students, I'd like to thank some of the people and recognize them who make this award program possible. We have an outstanding staff here at Brainerd High School, and our students have tremendous support during their high school experience. It is Spring Fling Week, so our staff, some of them, are dressed in the theme of the day, which is Workout Wednesday. We're usually not this casual, but they get into the spirit of things, and our students did too this week. So I'd ask that our Brainerd High School staff, many of them are in the back, not taking up seats, but for the other staff here, would you please stand and let us thank our staff. Also, this program would not happen without the help of a few key people here at Brainerd High School. Ms. Andrus is our work-based coordinator, and her classes help decorate today with these awesome posters and balloons. Jenny Barnhart, she is the face of this program, collecting nominations from the teaching staff, making the certificates, and getting everything ready. And Sean Tollefson is our IT guy who makes sure that we have good sound. And finally, we have Mr. Dwyer and members, some people from his video productions course. They're videotaping the program today. So if you follow Brainerd High School Facebook page, you can see some awesome clips of some awards programs and things going on here this week. So let's give a round of applause for those people that helped make this program possible. We will now recognize our students, the reason why we're here today. Alexis Abraham, nominated by Miss Wales for Pays Lab. Jack Anderson, nominated by Miss Litzinger for his work in chemistry. Anna England. Anna was nominated by Miss Ingram for her work in biology. Sean Bauman, nominated by Mr. Borish for his work in AP Human Geography. Isabel Basinger. Isabel was nominated by Mr. Geary for her work in geometry. Oliver Bankston. Oliver was nominated by Ms. Qualley for work in Spanish 2. Nicole Benson, nominated by Ms. Rosenquist Zemke for her work in physical science. Macy Berg. Macy was nominated by Ms. Anderson for her work in creative foods. Audrey Bergman, nominated by Ms. Rutger for her work in reading. Eli Biggs, nominated by Mr. Askegard for physical science. Megan Bisek. Megan was nominated by Ms. Anderson for English 11. Lindsay Booth, nominated by Mr. Kalaji for her work in environmental science. Taylor Borg, nominated by Ms. Neisted for the course Living on Your Own. Emma Bowen, nominated by Ms. Owen for Lifetime Fitness. William Brandt, nominated by Miss Wales for work in the Pays Lab. Kylie Brenny, nominated by Mr. Nelson for work in geometry. Keegan Brusvin. Keegan was nominated by Mr. Brisk in welding. Mason Kallstrom. Mason was nominated by Mr. White for his work in health, wellness, and fitness. Danielle Karner, nominated by Mr. Freed for work in United States history. Destiny Carrier, nominated by Mr. Jensen for work in Pottery 1. Andrew Cahy, nominated by Mrs. Toddick for intermediate algebra. Gabrielle Chapulis. Gabrielle was nominated by Mr. Borish, aka Deebs, in AP Human Geography. Natalia Krissinger. Natalia was nominated by Mr. Dwyer for her work in TV Productions 3. Chase Christian. Chase was nominated by Ms. Vandeputty for her work in College in the Schools, Introduction to Communication. Shyla Christensen, nominated by Mr. McDuffie for algebra. Macy Clow, nominated by Ms. Lang for work in American history. Caleb Klein. Caleb was nominated by Mrs. Kaiser for advanced algebra. Chloe Cure Hendrickson, nominated by Ms. Qualley for Spanish 2. Jasmine Kuzi. Jasmine was nominated by Mrs. Sanford for work in English 10. Ty Davis, nominated by Ms. Shepard for work in world history. Twyla Day. Ms. Menzel nominated Twyla for intermediate algebra. Carly Doctor, nominated by Ms. Melby for work in foods. Colton Doles. Colton was nominated by Mr. Askegard for his work in physical science. Nilana Dosh, nominated by Mr. Fisher for work in English 10. Devin Emslender. Devin was nominated by Ms. Alm for his work in AP US History. Molly Fitzpatrick, nominated by the Student Success Center staff for her work as a Student Success Center assistant. Tyler Fleischacker, nominated by Mr. Boardwell for his work in CAD. Kathleen Foley, nominated by Ms. Toddick for her work in intermediate algebra. Simon Foss, nominated by Ms. Anderson for his work in English 10. Lydia Galdonik. Lydia was nominated by Ms. Heyer for her work as a main office assistant. Alex Getker. Alex was nominated by Ms. Marcello for his work in intermediate algebra. Jeremy Good, nominated by Mr. Dwyer for his work in TV Productions 2. Lauren Goralski. Lauren was nominated by Ms. Harmer for her work in chemistry. Maya Hallinan. Maya was nominated by Mrs. Borden. Jacob Hansen. Jacob was nominated by Senora Main for Spanish 3. Elijah Hansen, nominated by Mr. Freed for his work in human geography. Jessie Hansen, nominated by Ms. Fundine and Sherry for her work in vocational skills. Kyle Hosh. Kyle was nominated by Mr. Oss for his work in American history. Nicholas Hastings. Nick was nominated by Ms. Lundgren for his work in AP chemistry. Mackenzie Helt. Mackenzie was nominated by the Student Success Center staff for her work as a Student Success Center assistant. Catherine Henke. Kate was nominated by Ms. Lasky for her work in biology. Malia Hermerding. She was nominated by Ms. Lundgren for her work in chemistry. Wyatt Heron. Wyatt was nominated by Mrs. Lively for his work as a media center assistant. Riley Hetver. Riley was nominated by the Student Success Center staff. Naomi Olabird, nominated by Ms. Miller for her work in English. Aaron Host. Erin was nominated by Mr. Dede for her work in advanced algebra. Jaden Howard. Jaden was nominated by Ms. Bastian for his work in American government. Gavin Inwards. Gavin was nominated by Mr. Kalaji for his work in environmental science. Caden Jagger. Caden was nominated by Ms. Todick for his work in intermediate algebra. Ariana Jensen, nominated by the Student Success Center staff for her work as a Student Success Center assistant. Keely Johnson, nominated by Mr. Hewitt for her work in AP research. Alexander Jones, nominated by Mrs. Schulte for his work in pre-AP English 9. Lily Jones, nominated by Ms. Shepard for her work in world history. Noah Jock. Noah was nominated by Mr. Peterson for his work in advanced placement European history. Christian Kadolf, nominated by Shelley Pewitt for his work as a main office assistant. Emily Kasulker, nominated also by Shelley Pewitt for her work as a main office assistant. Bryce Killian. Bryce was nominated by Mr. Wagner for his work in Introduction to Visual Arts. Olivia King, nominated by Mrs. Neisted for her work in culinary arts. Andrew Kurzeder. Andrew, I think I messed that up. Did I? Oh, great. Shot in the dark. Thanks, Andrew. Andrew was nominated by Miss Maddie Anderson for his work in physics. Abigail Klecker, nominated by Mr. Rezak for her work in human biology. Caden Clefman. Caden was nominated by Ms. J, or Ms. Johnson, for work in English 9. Lucas Crookton. Lucas was nominated by Ms. Ingram for his work in physical science. Madison Lease, nominated by the Student Success Center staff for her work as a Student Success Center assistant. Sarong Lee, nominated by Mr. Rezak for work in biology. Alaya Lem, Student Success Center assistant, or by the staff for her work as a Student Success Center assistant. Tasha Lindner, nominated by Senora Wieger for her work in Spanish 2. Valerie Lindman. Valerie was nominated by the Student Success Center staff for her work as a Student Success Center assistant. Michaela Lindquist, nominated by Ms. Kraft. Connor Lund, nominated by Ms. Anderson for his work in English 11. Jack Lundstrom. Jack was nominated by Ms. Harmer for his work in AP Biology. Cole Macau. Cole was nominated by Ms. Coleman for pre-AP English 9. Tanner Macareth. Tanner was nominated by Michelle Hilborn for his work in the activities office as an assistant. Zoe Matheson, nominated by Mr. McDuffie for her work in geometry. Maxwell Matheson was nominated by Debbie Heyer for his work as a main office assistant. Rebecca Maurer. Rebecca was nominated by Ms. Sanford for her work in creative writing. Aubrey Metz. Aubrey was nominated by Mr. Dede for her work in advanced algebra. Douglas Mickelson. Douglas was nominated by Ms. Worm for his work in greenhouse production. Trayton Miller. Trayton was nominated by Mr. Boardwell for exploring construction. Raven Mitchell. Ms. Andrus nominated Raven for work in vocational skills. Thea Moldlin. Thea was nominated by Mrs. Peabody for work in intermediate algebra. Rachel Monosmith. Rachel was nominated by Mr. Nelson for her work in the course Exploring Agriculture. Nick Moore. Nicholas was nominated by Ms. Zemke for his work in biology. Brandon Neifert. Brandon was nominated by Senora Main for Spanish 1. Maya Nelson, nominated by Ms. Coleman for her work in English 9. Brandon Nelson was nominated by Mr. Bjorkland. William I can never say your name, William. William was nominated by Ms. Klikatsky for biology. Imani Nicholas. Imani was nominated by Ms. Didi for online learning. Alexis, or Lexi Nickham, nominated by Mr. Brainerd for her work in entrepreneurship. Chandler Niemeyer was nominated by Michelle Hilborn for her work as an activities office assistant. Thomas Nordine. Thomas Nordine was nominated by Mrs. Ashburn for his work as a student services assistant. Ella Norlin. Ella was nominated by Miss Anderson in the Visual Arts Department for her work in pottery. Ethan Olson, nominated by Mr. Oss for his work in Tech Math 2. Maxwell Olson was nominated by Ms. Lasky for work in biology. Logan Omberg. Logan was nominated by Mr. Brisk for his work in the class Metals and Motors. Elsa Overland, nominated by Miss Anderson from the Visual Arts Department for her work in drawing. Cole Pardoon. Cole was nominated by Miss Klikatsky for biology. Grace Peabody, nominated by Ms. Klikatsky for biology. Chloe Pekarich, nominated by Michelle Hilborn as an activities office assistant. Andrew Pickar. Andrew was nominated by Miss Owen for his work in health, wellness, and fitness. Haley Pickar, nominated by Mr. White for work in health, wellness, and fitness. Lee Primesberger. Lee was nominated by Ms. Bastian for her work in AP Government and Politics. Morgan Price. Morgan was nominated by Ms. Vandeputty for her work in English 11. Sarah Riesdorf. Sarah was nominated by Ms. Anderson for her work in Pottery 1. Logan Roberts. Logan was nominated by Ms. Kraft. Faith Robinson. Faith was nominated by Mrs. Didi for being a student assistant for the classroom. Molly Rudolph. Molly was nominated by Mrs. Kaiser for her work in college algebra. Amber Rudolph, nominated by Ms. Miller for her work in English. Joseph Sauer, nominated by Mr. Lofstrom for his work in AP Statistics. Sarah Schiller. Sarah was nominated by Mr. Fisher in the English department for Pre-AP English 10. Benjamin Schlegel, nominated by Ms. Vandeputty for his work in Pre-AP English 10. Jace Schrader. Jace was nominated by Debbie Heyer for his work as a main office assistant. Allie Schultz. Allie was nominated by Mr. Peterson for her work with American History 2. Brianna Sievers. Brianna was nominated by Mr. Wagner for her work in Introduction to Visual Arts. Logan Severson, nominated by Mr. Nelson for his work in small animal science. Presley Severson. Presley was nominated by Ms. Litzinger for his work in chemistry. Caden Shefflow. Caden was nominated by Ms. Anderson for his work in creative foods. Tirza Schultz. Tirza was nominated by Ms. Anderson for her work in pottery. Alexa Simmons. Alexa was nominated by Mrs. Lang for her work in American history. Callie Shodin. Callie was nominated by Mr. Lofstrom for College in the Schools Pre-Calculus. Riley Smoody. Riley was nominated by Ms. Fussy for his work in sports and fitness. Samuel Spencer. Sam was nominated by Shelley Pewitt for his work as a main office assistant. Noah Sundberg. Noah was nominated by Mr. Hewitt for his work in advanced placement research. Trey Swenson. Trey was nominated by Ms. Nelson for his work in Technical Math 4. Emma Tauges. Emma was nominated by Mr. Jensen for her work on our yearbook. Meryl Teganoa. Meryl was nominated by Mr. Peterson for Advanced Placement European History. John Toven. John was nominated by Mr. Stubbs for his work in BARDS. Gavin Vatz. Gavin Vatz was nominated by Ms. Schulte for his work in English 9. Sam Vasquez. Sam was nominated by Ms. Anderson for his work in Advanced Placement Physics. Jordan Wozni. Jordan was nominated by Senora Weeker for Spanish 1. Molly Wells, nominated by Ms. Alm for her work in Advanced Placement U.S. History. Jaden Wendt, nominated by Mr. Stubbs for work in Windfall Choir. Brittany Weston, nominated by Barb and Shirley for her work as a Student Services Assistant. Grace Whipple. Grace was nominated by Ms. J, or AKA Ms. Johnson, for English 9 Concepts. Lainey Woodwick, nominated by the Student Success Center staff for being a Student Success Center Assistant. Ella Young, nominated by Mrs. Peabody for Geometry. Noelle Youngquist, nominated by Mr. Nelson for Geometry.